My name is James Sewell, and I have been sober since April 4th, 2011. Grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. That's where I'm originally from, and youngest of 6 kids. You know, Dad had 4 with his first wife, and then my parents had my brother and myself. Parents were extremely loving and supportive. So I was homeschooled from 2nd grade through high school. So I didn't actually start going to school until freshman year of college. It was definitely a culture shock for me. Being homeschooled, I never had to deal with high school drama and the pettiness and all that kind of stuff. Didn't really make sense, still doesn't make sense to me at this point. And then, I came out to my parents when I was 17, and mom's response was basically, well, duh. But I had never really been around other gay people or gotten into the gay, quote, scene until college. I stuck to alcohol. I managed to get myself into plenty of trouble. To be a gay man meant you went out 4 or 5 times a week and got just plastered drunk and partied all the time. And being somebody who has struggled with anxiety, some body image issues and most things that gay men deal with, right? I hated the clubs, I hated the bars, right? And so when I found out that drinking could take away that anxiety, I had to drink to be comfortable in the bar when I didn't want to be in the bar in the first place. And being a person who, has stress issues, has anxiety issues, has this baggage, control issues come right along with it. And so I learned that, okay, you're supposed to go out 5-6 nights a week, and you're supposed to get, absolutely blackout drunk every single time, but you also need to be in control. So I also developed a tendency to drive home because I wouldn't give my keys up because I didn't trust people, right? I didn't trust that I would be safe with them, of all things, right? I'm blackout drunk, I'm not gonna remember the evening, but I'm safer if I drive myself home. And so, I didn't touch alcohol until maybe 3 months before I turned 21. And by the time I turned 22, I had 2 DUIs. So after the second DUI in Michigan, where I was going to school, once I was done with all of the stuff that came along with that, jail time and probation and all that kind of stuff, I moved back to Omaha and re-enrolled in school, University of Nebraska, Omaha, to finish my degree. And I stayed sober for 2.5 years, probably, following that. And it was relatively easy. And then I started dating. And I'm attracted to crazy in a very, very unhealthy way. And so I would try to date these guys who were, borderline personality and bipolar and just terrible, or at least they were terrible for me. And so I started drinking to be comfortable in those, quote, relationships, right? I started drinking to feel okay with dating. And again, the drinking escalated to the point where guess who was driving again? And that continued until April 3rd, 2011, when I got my 3rd DUI. Fortunately, I was charged with a second because there was a big gap between the second DUI and then this 3rd one. So, my public defender at the time was able to plea it down to another second rather than a 3rd, so I avoided the felony. But like every state, you get a DUI and you get court ordered to do the classes and the whatever. And I was court ordered to do an intensive outpatient program in Omaha. And at the time I didn't have insurance and I didn't have any money. And so I ended up going to Catholic Charities in Omaha, which was a nonprofit, and they did a sliding fee scale and all that. And I'm very, very grateful. And 3 weeks in, my counselor sat me down and said, you don't belong here. You're not getting what you need out of our program. So I'm going to make you a deal. If you make an appointment with this therapist who specializes in trauma issues, I will write you a letter of completion for the court so that you satisfy your requirements and you can get on to what is actually going to help you. And so I made the appointment for probably October of 2011, and it changed my life. I've taken something that the world views as a major negative and a major struggle and whatever, and I've taken my struggles with addiction and mental health and I've turned them into my greatest strengths, my greatest compassions. I finished getting my master's degree, so I have a degree in community counseling, right? I can be a therapist if I want to go get licensed. I've decided that I can have a greater impact using that knowledge. I started a billing company that specializes in behavioral health and substance abuse facilities, right? If I can help a good facility help their clients, well then I have a greater impact on it. I've taken that and started my own outpatient treatment program where we treat individuals suffering from dual diagnosis with substance abuse or straight mental health. And most recently, I purchased a school that specializes in certifying and helping people get their KDACs, right? And so I've taken this negative thing that could have kind of derailed me completely, and I'm thriving with it. For the most part, I wouldn't change anything because I wouldn't be where I'm at. I feel like I've made an impact on people. If you're struggling with alcohol addiction or any kind of substance issue, right? The best advice I can give you is to remember that you're human. And part of the human condition is that you're going to make mistakes and you're going to screw up. I live my life and I encourage those around me to live their life from the standpoint of you are not your mistakes, you are not your setbacks, you are not your failures. If you have 30 days, if you have 30 years sober, you're still gonna make mistakes, right? And if that mistake is that you pick up a drink and you screw up, okay, that doesn't define who you are. What defines you, what makes you who you are is what you do after you make a mistake. And I think learning to allow yourself to be human, learning to allow yourself that grace and that kindness can change your life.